Today I have another update video for you about the trading bots, but also about new positions that I will be taking. Of course, we'll also go through my current open positions, and I'll show you why I'm going to risk a short on Bitcoin. And I know none of you want to hear that, but I'm going to do it because I already have a long position down below. That means I would just be hedging here, in this case, back to that entry price. Why? For what reason? We just need to look at the liquidation heat map. Over 3 months, there's a cluster just below us, and above us, nothing at all. We'll also look at it for 1 month and 2 weeks. I'll get to that in a moment. I know nobody wants me to say, hey, let's short into this, but we have a cluster here, and that's what I'd like to play, that if we go down and pick that up, I would continue to scale into a new long or possibly even build a new one. Where were we here? Right here. And at the moment, that would work very well with the 0.5 Fibonacci or even the 0.618 Fibonacci levels. That means I will test and risk that. Not only that, we also need to be careful. Tomorrow is the Fed's interest rate decision, and that could turn into a short-term sell the news event because we know how volatile things can get sometimes, and that volatility could briefly push us down with a single candle, which is something I'd like to take advantage of. Additionally, we'll go through all the trading bot vouchers. Here I have again, if I invest $1,000 in the DCA bot, I get $1,000 back. It's the same here with $200 invested and $500 held back. And here it's also with the 10K what I get back. I've already opened a $3,000 bot. We'll take a look at that together in a moment. I still have a few of the spot DCAs open here. If you don't know about this yet, check out my channel, the very first video that appears at the top. I explain it there in detail. Or in the crypto trading bot tutorial playlist, you'll find it there as well. You can easily try it yourself on Bitget, all for free. This is a spot trading strategy that I've been using successfully for almost 2 years now without taking any losses. Of course, we'll also take a look at the futures martingale. I opened 2 trading bots, if you remember, during the live stream on Sunday, in order to receive a $3,000 voucher here, and to receive the $10,000 voucher here. We're slightly in the red right now, but that's not a problem at all, because with this strategy, the way I use it, and if you know these videos, then you know how confidently I can go to sleep and run these kinds of trading bots without any headaches. But we'll go through this right now before we move on to the next part, which is the individual positions that are still open and the new positions that I've already prepared. We actually have a few great ones. For example, DOGE looks perfect here for an entry. It made a new high. Here we have an opportunity for another pullback for new entries. It's the same story with AVAX, and Ethereum is still open as well. And if you saw Ethereum, maybe in the last video or in the live stream, you can see here that the entry was triggered perfectly. But let's start with the trading bot now. I want to activate the $1,000 trading bot voucher now so you can see how it works. That means we go back into the futures section. I already have a futures martingale set up. I always do it only with Ethereum. In this case, I'll just make a copy here as well. These are my current trading bot settings. I always do the same thing over and over. In futures, I set it so that every 0.75% it should buy again. This happens 50 times in total. In this case, it's set to 4 times leverage, but I don't do that. I use a bit less. And 1% is always the take profit that should be captured each time. And Bitget now says I should invest at least $26 here if I use the 4 times leverage. But here I'm going to make it a 2 times leverage bot because even though I have to invest more, I'm simply on the safe side. With that, I need to put in about $53 per order, so $2,706 go into this trading bot. 1% take profit, everything else is fine. I turn off reinvest and now click on create. Then it tells me what everything looks like. Click on confirm and you'll see exactly that I now have another trading bot. And now I currently have 3 futures, DCA trading bots running, which I can operate without any headaches because I know how they work and have been doing this for such a long time. If you really want to know exactly how it works, make sure to watch the video. I would really appreciate it if you support my channel, or rather support me with a subscription. It doesn't cost you anything, but it motivates me even more to put out new content like this, which actually brings massive value to you all. And I'm really making one value-packed video after another here with so many tests. For example, also about the grid trading bot. Did you know what the best spacing is for the grid trading bot? Yes, the percent profit per grid. I'm running a live test here, so make sure to check it out so you don't end up, as is often suggested, using 500 grids with 0.3% profit per grid, because in that case, you'd be down here in this lower range where that's happening. This is a live test that's been running for several weeks, and of course it was in the red for a long time. But as a small example, 0.8% profit per grid has been the best performer for a long time now in terms of overall profit. I'm also regularly live on YouTube where you can watch this, and in the playlist Grid Trading Bot Live, I have several tutorials on this topic that you can check out. All right, now we've opened up the next trading bot. I'm going to use the next one. I still have this $500 grid trading bot voucher because I still have 3 days left to redeem it. I have 2 spot grid bots here that I can still use and also 1 more futures DCA here. But I'm going to hold off on that until the interest rate decision has been made so that I know if we drop further, and I think we will drop a bit, that I can then open them at a lower price to get a better entry point. Other than that, I still have the spot grids here, which have of course been running for quite some time now, and I will reinvest in them again if we continue to fall. A few open positions, including a small Ethereum short, but that's just a test, and I'll show you that again in a live stream. What I'm interested in here are the funding fees. How long does it take if I have a short position and at the same time buy the same amount of Ethereum so I'm market neutral? How long does it take for me to make enough profit from the funding fees to cover all the fees I pay to open the positions and then for my realized profit to keep increasing regularly? I'll go through that live with you as well. That's a test that's being prepared in the background. Otherwise, I still have about $25,000 in open profits with Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Solana. But let's keep going now. Guys, overall, we obviously have a very bullish event, right? So now we have the first position is here, Ethereum, which I'm going through with you. For me, Ethereum is still this little test here, which we went through on Sunday, where I said we have the possibility of this pullback, which could then bring us into the area of the 0.5 Fibonacci level. If you want to know how this trading strategy works, check out my channel as well. Trading Learning Step by Step and Profit Trader works every time. It's included there. Right now, we've received this support. This is just a small opportunity where I would say you could enter here. Always take the liquidation map into account. My big session, which I still have here, is still ongoing. And if I take this out here, specifically this Fibonacci, for me, that's still a possibility that could happen. 4,500, where we are now down to 4,155 US dollars. Even if I go back to Ethereum now, I still have the position open. But I'll show you some other new ones that I also still have open. But we also see this cluster here going down to 4,120 US dollars. And there really are, look at this, 1.4 billion. Below that 1 billion, a bit above that 1.2 billion. We have a huge cluster at around 4,100 US dollars. And where is my entry? Around 4,155. I would also enter again here at the second 618. That means even if you don't want to accept it, even if you say we're going to pump really hard with the interest rate decision because the rates are going to be lowered, well, I'm prepared. If we drop, I'll enter here and want to ride it up if everything works out optimally. And that's why I suspect that we won't see much happening in the market until tomorrow, but that it will be all the more volatile then. And the liquidation heat map never lies. We know that by now. First trade, then Ethereum. Take a look at that. Compare it with the liquidation heat map. With Bitcoin, I have something similar now. We have, and you know this from the videos, I'm still long. I managed to get an incredibly good entry here at the 0.618 level. I'm a bit above that now overall, but of course I still have the long position. What I'm currently seeing right now, and it's important to note we're on the daily chart, which gives us a long-term perspective, is that we haven't managed to make another higher high right here. Instead, what has actually happened at this point in time is quite telling. After this previous high that we had established, we've now gone on to make a new low. And as a result, at this point, we have a confirmed lower high. Of course, it's entirely possible we could still go up from here, but given this change in market structure, I want to hedge my long position with a short to protect against potential downside. Again, if we look at this now, it's what I showed earlier as well. I know a lot of people don't want to short, but in this case, I'm willing to take the risk, and I've consistently made good profits with short positions. Again, it's the same area as when we're at Moolen here, around 160,500, we have this cluster. And if I go in here now, go back and apply my trading strategy again, as I mentioned earlier, my Fibonacci level from this high to the current low we have, yes, from here down, then that would be my opportunity for a short entry. And unfortunately, I just barely missed it, but I still want to enter it now. You can see here how strongly Bitcoin is reacting to the 0.5 Fibonacci level. That means I want to see here if we can go down from here. As I just said, down to a price of around 106,500 US dollars. And in this case, that would also be a bit below this price range, which is actually where my take profit would be in this case. That means I could leave the long position open here and use my short hedge to compound my long position again, even though I've already taken partial profits here. That's my plan for Bitcoin right now. If we really do drop, but I'm willing to take that risk. You know how it is. So what is my strategy then? Here, I use the short position, enter it, set my stop loss just above the 0.681 level, and in this case, my take profit will be down here. or because 107,298 is actually much more interesting if I set it at around 106,500 US dollars due to the liquidation heat map that's present here. So a bit higher, I'd set it at 106,700 here, and that's where I'll open my new Bitcoin short, which I'm willing to risk. And with the risk reward of losing 1% of my trade, or rather I'm risking 10% of my trade, that's what I'm specifying. But in this case, I could actually get a 4.9 times payout from this trade. If that doesn't work out, then I'll have to take a closer look at it. I'd even be willing to risk it again in that area at 0.618 and do the same thing once more. H-bar, that's the trade where my stop loss is already at break even. That means we're seeing a small correction here now. If we don't drop further here, then this correction we're seeing now is because we made a new high. Again, we're seeing an incredibly nice reaction here due to the correction at the 0.5 Fibonacci level, and H-bar is really starting to rise again. That means I'm still in here with a better entry down at the 0.5 level, stop loss at break even, already took partial profits in this area, and now I'm risk-free in this position. Cardano, same thing, did exactly the same one-to-one. Here too, perfect entry, partial profits taken, stop loss is at break even. And if we look at Cardano, the breakout we had here and include that in a smaller time frame, at this point in time, the 0.5 was also a very good entry. The stop loss was not hit if you had traded it. And here it continues to move upward at this point in time. If we continue to fall, my stop loss would be triggered, but partial profits have already been taken. And the only thing where I haven't set the stop loss to break even yet, I think I'll remove this now because this position was profitable, but we see the 0.786 on the Fibonacci where I'm long and somehow I don't really want to. I've already taken partial profits at the 0.618 as well, but why am I saying that I'm not closing my position yet, even though, sorry, that's where my stop loss is. Because if I now draw a new Fibonacci from down here and pull it up here, I'm currently seeing a reaction at the 0.618 level. Yes, if I extend it further, the 0.618, so that's why I'm not closing it yet. We're not below it yet. I take the small loss, even though I've already taken some profits here, and I'll let the rest run. Link is still active as before. These are still open. They've been open for several videos now. Litecoin, exactly the same game. If we actually drop down, as I've seen with Bitcoin and with the liquidation heat map, these would be perfect entries here. Solana, same game. We've had a wonderful rise here. Here too, I would place orders again at the 0.5 and 0.618 levels, and of course compare that with the liquidation heat map. Ondo is a similar story for us. So we have this downtrend here, and because someone recently suggested Ondo in the live stream, we broke through this downtrend to the upside. And here as well, I now see the opportunity for new entries at the 0.5 and 0.618 levels. But again, it's important to include the liquidation heat map here as well. That means I would also go long here if I see any clusters on the liquidation heat map. And then there's AVAX. AVAX at the moment, it's just determined to keep pumping, right? But here, it's exactly the same. You can see here another AVAX long position is prepared, and I currently see DOGE as really good. So based on what it's doing right now and the beautiful price action, it's actually showing. Yeah, here a high, a lower high, a new higher high, a lower high, right? Here it showed a bit of weakness for a moment, but it broke through the downtrend we had. This means we've created a new high, and I would expect a lower high in this area or in this area as well in order to then rise further again. But what we really need to pay attention to here, and this should definitely be compared with the liquidation heat map again, is this cluster down here at the order block at the 0.786 level, whether it might even go down here. And maybe we can do this very quickly now, live, as a conclusion. DOGE, for everyone who's interested, let's take a look at the liquidation heat map. Where might there be a cluster below? There will definitely be one, considering these pumps here. We have one at 0.23 and one at around 20 cents. Let's go back again. 0.23 would be the 0.618 level, so it would be very ideal if we bounced here. That's what I mean comparing it with the liquidation heat map. That means in this case I wouldn't even trade the 0.5 but really the 0.618 to get a reversal here. Or if that's a month now, we also like to take another look at the 2-week chart to see if we can spot a bit more, to see if there's anything further below. Right, here you can see the 0.20 again. The cluster that's built up over the last 2 weeks is actually pretty intense. So 0.20, if the 0.23 cluster doesn't hold, I actually see 0.274 as a possible price zone that we could reach. And that would be exactly the cluster I mentioned earlier, this area where a lot of trading took place that we would then move down to here. That means with this trading setup, I would completely skip the 0.5 level, risk the 0.618, and the second trade I would make here would be at 0.786, hoping for a reversal there. So I would enter these 2 positions here based on the liquidation heat map. You just had a small example of how I pay attention to this in order to start my trades. That's it for now. Another longer video, but right now I just can't manage to make shorter videos because there's so much exciting stuff I want to share with you. Current trade setups, my thoughts, so you can also see how I do my analysis. Of course, everything is always without guarantee, but this way you can learn how I find profitable trades with setups without having to sit in front of the chart all the time. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate your support, and we'll see each other again next time.